Good morning. Today is the 7th of August 2024 and I'm going to go through my trading watch list for today. Before we start, let's see what could move the market. And there's no major news, some oil news at 10:30, so if you're in oil then just be wary. Other than that, we do have the 10-year auction, the 10-year note auction. That could move the market as done previously, so keep an eye at 1 o'clock today. Okay, so on my screen is the ES and we're looking at the 1 hour time frame, and we've got some decent levels today. Let's zoom in. So we can see we're setting up this, let's open up my pen, bit of a wedge pattern. We're holding this trend line down at the bottom and we've failed really to get over this region here. Make that a bit bigger. So this is a region we've been holding, and that's the region I'm watching for a potential break and retest long. So when I was looking at this earlier, I was torn between two levels, either the pre-market high, break and retest, or yesterday's high. I put my stop right in between the two, and that's only because it's an area of confluence, and we've got bottoms of bodies here, tops of candles there, and it's a gap fill as well. So I'm watching 53.37 for a break and retest long, but I'll be watching that entire region. So we're coming into it now. I want to see it. And if we do break through that, we do have a bit of a volume shelf to the left. This area here could be a problem getting over. But if not, then we've got a free run then with little volume to the left until we get up to this region, 54.36. There is a psychological number in there as well, 5400, so we need to keep an eye on that. If we're coming into that, potentially we could see it pull back. But what I'm looking for us to do, we've got this inverse head and shoulders pattern, almost a breakout and a retest of the neckline, which will be this area here. But we are just narrowing in this wedge until we either get to see it break out that way, or I'm not opposed to going short as well. I really want to see it break down through that trend line, but I'm only long while I'm above the trend line and above all of the moving averages, the 50, the 20 and the 8. And that's it really, that's the only one I'm watching. That's the break and retest. If we get up into this region, I'll be watching this area for a rejection, and that'll be around 54.26, 54.30, all the way up to 54.50. So there's that region there. Let's just see if I make that smaller. So this region here I quite like for the rejection, and as you can see, coming over to the left, we've got a high volume shelf. The point of control is above as well, 5500 psychological number, and that's our other rejection point. Looking at daily, just so we get an idea of what's going on. It's an inside day today. Big move down, bounced off this 200 moving average. We've lost the 50 moving average, so definitely the bears are in control at the moment, and we've lost institutional support. So we're looking to hold 51.50 for a bounce. So if we come back down, I quite like the bounce there, or potentially the bounce on this pivot at 5,000. Volume wise, we had increase in volume while we were selling off, and then that's why this could be just a simple pullback, because we've got reducing volume at the moment. What volume did we have yesterday? So we had reducing volume there. Wednesday, even less volume. Look at that. Oh, that's today. Tuesday, where's Monday? There we go. Monday, Tuesday was half the size, so the volume is definitely reducing on the pullback. And so the key area is, are we going to break this area here, what we've been holding, and then put in a series of higher, lower highs, lower lows, lower high, and then we could draw in the trend line. We could potentially be watching this area here for it to pull back into, and it could coincide with this area as well. This is the area we watched originally. We were holding it, saying it's key area, we're either going to break down from that or break up over that key area, and we broke down in the end. Obviously one thing you can see is this head and shoulders pattern. neckline is kind of coming down at that angle there. So we could be looking to retest the neckline potentially for the next move down. But let's see where we go. Hourly is what we're watching today. And so basically the key area for me today is breaking out of 53.37 or breaking down below pre-market low. I may consider a short, but I really want to get below this trend line. So yesterday's low will be the area I'll be looking for a short. And I think that's it. Going on to SPY. Exactly the same. We've got pre-market high right at this gap as well. So break and retest of yesterday's high, pre-market high area. There was a little bit of volume as we saw in ES just immediately above this little wedge, which you can see we gapped down from. So you can keep an eye on that. And then there's pretty much no volume until we get back up into this 50, 539, 92, 530, 540 area. And that's our rejection area up here. Bounce wise, hard, you know, what I'm seeing here, if we look at this on the daily, it's just a bear flag. And we could play the trend line if we see it bounce down here, pre-market low, but if we lose pre-market low, I'll be looking for shorts as it breaks down through that bear flag. So key area for the long. We can also watch if we can't break over it and we come back down, we can also watch it for the rejection as well, and that's with the current trend. So we'll keep an eye on that. SPX. Key areas on SPX is this 5200 area, 5300 area. We rejected it yesterday. We got to 5310. So I'm watching 5300 again. So I'm going to move that to where there's more touches of the bodies, and that happens to be at 5304, 5305 that area. So watch out for rejection. If we open up above it, then we can look for a break and retest long. And then obviously if we draw the trend line in this area here, 5400 is a big rejection area as well, so keep an eye on that area for a rejection. 5400 is a psychological number as well. Nasdaq, let's look at the daily volume first. So we've got high volume on the sell-off, reduced volume on the pullback yesterday. Key area this, we marked it off with a pivot. We've got the point of control going through that area, 18600, so that's the area we can watch on the hourly. 18600, 18500, so this is the area. So if we can break above that area, come back and retest, we can look for the long into maybe the 200 moving average or that trend line, or this hourly level. We've got 18800, 18885, or if we can't hold this area, and we can look for the breakdown of this wedge, and it looks just like a bear wedge setup. So to be on the safer side, of break and retest of pre-market low, 18220. But if we draw in, let's just draw in. So we kind of got that in play at the moment, and so we can watch for the break and retest of that trend line as well, short. See where the other day ends. QQQ, exactly the same. We can draw that in again, approximately that area. Let's get rid of that one. So I like the pre-market high, break and retest long to break out of this pattern, or the breakdown of pre-market low for the break and retest short. Crude oil, holding the trend line, which is great. Putting in this inverse head and shoulders pattern, and we're coming into the neckline right now. So let's just zoom in so you can see this. And I was about to say, let's watch for the break and retest of this area, and that's exactly what's happening. I find oil to be a bit more predictable in these patterns. Break, retest, long. So let's keep an eye on that. So 74.65 for the long, that area, like that. And then this is the next area of supply. We know that because we had green candle and then followed by this red massive big sell-off. So keep an eye on 77.46 for the rejection, 77, this area here. Also we have the point of control in that area of confidence as well, where tops and bottoms are candles and then most touches are candles. And then obviously we can watch around this trend line area for the bounce at 71.66. Gold, it's holding the trend line still. I know we poked through it, but we held it the second time. There's an inverse head and shoulders pattern, like so. The neckline's there, so I like the breakdown, the retest of this point of control, 24.35 long, that area here. So it's going to break down, retest, break out, and retest the neckline to continue to move up. Obviously we can also watch for pre-market high break and retest as well, but we have got a little bit of potential resistance above, bottoms of pivots, so be a bit wary. The volume's not quite as much there, but there is volume there, so it may be hard trying to get through that. And then if we come back up into this region, bottoms of candles, tops of pivots, we can watch for the rejection up there as well, or potential target if we break out. RTY, this is the Russell 2000, putting in a lovely change of trend, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, kind of equal high, higher high, higher low, hovered higher high, and then what we're going to do next. So I quite like the breakout of pre-market high, break and retest, long, and then we've got a target, bit of volume to the left as well. So our target is 21.31, and I do quite like this. It's a clean pattern. We've broken that pivot there yesterday, so I'm going to put a, probably going to look for a long if we come back into the yesterday's high area. I'll leave an alert there, but one I'll keep an eye on. I'll add that to my thumbs in a minute. RTY is looking good for long, and there's not much, there's a little bit of volume above. So let's go on to YM, which is the Dow Jones. Be interesting, it's already come in and retested that trend line. So again, if not a big fan of this, but we have to break out above that trend line and break up above. So we're looking for a break above 39,600. I'll be back in 2 seconds. I'm back. Apologies for that. That wasn't expected delivery. So let's close that. So where were we? We're looking at the Dow Jones on the hourly. We need a break over this trend line. Could watch the break and retest of pre-market high, but I think the break over the trend line, which is 39,600 long, is a better play. Or we can watch it for a double top and reject down, but we need to just draw the trend line in. We've got two trend lines, we've got that one and we've got that one there. So we need to get down below pre-market low, so break and retest of pre-market low, and that's at 39,268. And then finally let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. Let's go to the daily, because I prefer the daily on this one. Again, we're still looking pretty bullish. We've talked about this every day. Big cup and handle pattern, so we've got the cup, and then this is the handle, and we're back down there. I added yesterday when it came back down to 50,000, so I need to add another add symbol there. And you know, I'm happy to add every time we come back down into these regions while we're playing it, and then waiting for the breakout. But it's looking bullish overall, you know, when we're going to break out of this, I don't know. This is the daily. Let's look at the, see it on the monthly or the weekly, and it would be even more obvious. So here we go. This is a monthly chart. Cup and handle, putting in a new high, pulling back. It's just a bull flag if you look at it that way, and we're waiting for it to break out. So I'm going to keep topping up every time we pull back down. So I don't have a massive account for this. Back to ESN, we'll wrap up, we'll just look at some order flow. Just look at the ES on the monthly, it looks totally different. And we're having this few red days, but if you look at it, all it is, it's just a little pullback, holding, is it holding the 8 moving average potentially? So we're not going to be in a downtrend really until we break the monthly pivot at 440, or if we go down to the weekly. You know, we've got to break that pivot to be on a weekly. We need to break below it and close below it. Come down, pull back, and then that's our official change of trend. But as we are at the moment, we're just still in an uptrend, and it's just a pullback on the uptrend. So no need to panic. And that candle looks pretty bullish as well, bottom tail. Okay, so let's have a look at the order flows. Just remind ourselves, we're watching for the break and retest of 53.34, 53.40, and let's flick over to my order flow. So on my other screen it's live. I just realised my mic wasn't working on the order flow screen. I was basically explaining that it's not looking too unusual, just looking normal. I'll sort out the microphone in a minute. There's some big orders you can see down at 52.60, 52.40, 52.20 in the bottom left corner. See if I can get my microphone to work. I'm not sure why it's not working. Okay, so now my microphone's working. In the bottom left corner you can see these really big orders. So 52, 56, 52, 40, 60, 40, 20, and if you look at the middle you can see they've got 1,000 orders waiting there, 2,500 orders waiting there, 500. So these are big orders, so if we come back down we can expect to see a bounce unless it gets absorbed and then we see it continue down. So I'll keep an eye on these areas. This is a big area. I've not seen these many orders for a long time. And then there's a few more further down at 5,000, but that's an area to watch. If we come back down to 5,200, down to 52.50, that's a bounce area. 52, and we've got 52.30 as a level on the chart as well. 52.40 is a pivot. 52.30 is a pivot. And we'll see we have 52.20. 52.20, there's not much of 52. 52.20, there's not much there. What's that 1,000 order? 52.30 and 52.55. So it's quite a lot. So we can expect a bounce on the trend line 52. So 52.50 is around 52. Look where we had 2,000 orders. 52.55 is exactly there. Yesterday's low, and we've got 2,500 orders sitting there waiting. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow. Don't forget the live streams on the other channel.